Okay, now I'm gonna want to install my new valve springs next, but I've got to go to the auto parts store and get the loaner tool, the valve spring compressor, because I had returned it while I was waiting for the head to be redone. And the other thing I got to do is the little retainer caps and the keepers, all of those. I never really got around to cleaning those, so I think I'm going to throw those in some parts cleaner and let them soak while I run to the auto parts store to get the clamp. Alright, there's my old valve springs. Not going to bother cleaning those up because I've got brand new valve springs that I'm going to be putting in. Took all of the caps, the retainers, and the keepers, threw them in this here. I'm going to put some cleaner in there and let these soak a while. Just agitate it around and let them soak, and then when I come back I'll agitate them again and take them out and rinse them off, and that should clean those fine. They're really just clips, but the half of these are the rotocap style ones, and they've got some grit and grime in there. You can feel it when you turn them, so I want to make sure those are good and cleaned up. And then while I'm out, I'm gonna make a quick stop at my friendly neighborhood mechanic and garage where I've had some work done before, and where I bring all my waste oil. I've got 5 gallons of waste oil. I'll bring him, and he uses that to heat his garage in the wintertime, and I'll see whether or not he'd be kind enough to let me throw this in his parts washer to soak, and then I'll go get that valve spring compressor tool. Well, I just got back. I ran this in the parts washer at the garage, and came out pretty good. The heavy stuff came off, but these still bind a little bit, so I think what I'm going to want to do is probably remove the clip on the end here and take all of these individual pieces off, clean out any gunk that might be stuck in there, and put it all back together with lubricant, some lube in there. No harm in that, but at least now it's a lot cleaner than it was before I started, so that I won't have to be getting completely filthy just taking it apart. Of course, I just got back and I got the clamp, and now it's starting to rain, so well, it doesn't look like that's going to be a passing shower. The sky's been darkening up all afternoon. It's been threatening. It was spitting a little bit here and there every once in a while I was lapping the valves, but then the sun would come back out. But now this looks like it's here to stay, so I'm going to have to quit on this for now. Well, I cleaned up all of the little valve spring caps and keepers and took them out of the cleaner and rinsed them all off, and now I'm just throwing them in my little junk toaster oven I use here in the shop to drive any moisture out of those rotocaps and dry everything off. Mainly I don't want any water trapped inside these rotocap assemblies causing any problems, so I'll just dry them out. This is the rocker arm assembly that I cleaned up, and what I was talking about is, for example, you can see this one moves pretty freely. This one moves pretty freely, considering it's got this spring pushing on it. But this one actually just broke free, but it's kind of stuck. This one's really sticking. It's working free a little bit now. That one's okay. But there must be some crud on that shaft that's causing that, so the easiest way I think to clean all that up is going to be to take all these parts off and then clean the parts individually and then reassemble it and put some lubricant on the shaft. Well, first I got to make some room on the bench. I got still the parts from the XR100 project sitting here, and get rid of those and clean this up a little bit better. Alright, so I don't think it matters which end I start on, but I've got to take this clip off right here. So I'm going to use my little pick tool to get that clip off. Oh, that clip's being really stubborn. Might have to rethink my plan of attack on this. Did get the parts out of the oven though. They're still too hot to the touch, but they're nice and bone dry. Well, I got the valve spring compressor. I was going to put the valve back in the head with the new valve springs and everything, and then I was looking at these rotocaps, as they're called. These are the ones that go on top of, I believe, the exhaust valve. stems, and the theory behind them is that every time the valve opens and closes, it rotates a slight bit. Lets the valve rotate a little bit. I wondered what the purpose of that was, and my machinist told me it's to help keep the exhaust valve cool. So he's a knowledgeable guy, so I'll have to believe that. But here's the problem. This one, and this one, and this one. Nope, this one. These three right here, they all seem to rotate okay. I'm assuming that all they do is rotate, that there isn't any specific test to test if these are good. As long as they rotate freely, I'm assuming that they're okay. Now that they've been cleaned up, they do. Except for this one. This one, it's got something else going on with it. This actual top piece was cocked. It wasn't in straight. And it wouldn't rotate at all. So I tapped it down with a hammer to pop it back in. And now it's popped back in, but it still doesn't want to rotate at all. And if I jiggle this one, I can hear something loose or broken inside there, as opposed to what these sound like. These, you can hear the two pieces, the top and the bottom piece, move around, but you don't hear any. You only hear a slight movement of the ball bearing or whatever it is that's in there that makes that work. Whereas this one sounds like whatever's in there is just completely out of its position or whatever. So I'm going to have to probably replace this roto cap if I can't fix it. Don't know whether or not this is serviceable. These almost look like the way they're put together, that they were basically made to, that they were assembled at the factory, and then this is peened over probably by a machine, and it's not made to come apart. Since I'm going to have to replace this anyways, just for the heck of it, I'm going to try and pop this out to see if I can't see the anatomy of what's going on inside there. Who knows, maybe I can even fix it. Alright, so what I've done is I've set this, set the jaws of my vise here just wide enough so that they're catching the lip of this top section of the roto cap. And now I've got a bolt with a nut. The OD of this nut is small enough that it'll pass through this larger hole. And that's going to give me something to bang that center part out, theoretically. Okay, I've banged on it some. You can see one side's coming up. It's kind of cocked in there. That's pretty much how it was when I took it out, which led me to believe there was something wrong in the first place. So let's see if I can't pop it all the way out. There we go. All right. So the other half just fell here on my dirty floor. Let's see if I can't find it and whatever ball bearings or whatever were in there. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't like what I found at all. All I could find were these two tiny, tiny ball bearings. And one of them actually looks like it's bigger than the other one. And to make matters worse, when I was jiggling this, it didn't sound like there were a lot of ball bearings in there. But when you take this apart, this has 5 cups, which would make me think there should be 5 ball bearings inside there. I would also think that they'd be bigger than that tiny little thing. Also, this half of the cap, you can see the area where the ball bearings were rubbing on or riding on actually looks severely worn. I don't think those grooves are supposed to be like that. So that makes me think that these are really badly worn out. And this is the one that was stuck, but none of these are exactly happy sounding. I mean, I guess once oil's inside there, they might quiet down, but I don't know. I'm just thinking that for the amount of wear and tear I'm seeing on this one, wouldn't be surprised if these are close to the same. as far as wear. And if that's the case, I think I might want to just wait until I get new ones in. I mean, I'm putting in new valves and new springs. It would be a shame to do all that and then use... I mean, I'm going to have to order one of these anyways to replace this one. So why not just get 4? Now let's see, there's a part number on here. If I look at it on the magnification, part number looks to be 358198R as in Romeo 91. And of course there's the International Harvester symbol. So 358198R91. Are they all the same? Let's see how much those are.